All right. We're cooking with the gasoline. That's saying it's so much fun. Cooking with gasoline. You know, it'll go fast and aggressive. My hair. My fluffy hair. Hey, Kuro, good morning. How's it going? How's it going? Nice to see you. To see you nice. Hey, EOP. Gasoline cooking. That's the best kind of cooking. Yeah. Today, I think it was a nice surprise to wake up with snow outside. Man, cooking. It's an echo. It's gonna come. Don't worry. Um, yeah. So the waking up to snow is interesting. Hey, Infinite Divide, Lure Bazilin. And I'm fine, Kuru. I'm good. I'm all good. Yeah, hopefully there won't be any more snow surprises. So it's 10 past. How about throwing me some topics and uh, and let's see one which is the winner. Chicken dinner. Man, my face is so dry. I gotta cream it. Let's see if this works. Nope, still doesn't work. Now it works. Hey, Captain Jetlag. Good morning. What is snow? Yeah, that's a good one. Hey, good morning, Sofa Strangler. Magshen, good morning. Kuiba, fantastic, you're back. Morphia, also back. That's great. You guys gotta throw me some topics now. I'm eager to start. Flying chicken creatures that may or may not breathe fire and eat people. That's a good topic. Astronaut tank class, mutated toad hiding. Flying fish. Orby, good morning. Moisty drain pipes. Ooh. Mountain attack. Alright, paper thin. We got loads of them. Let's see. 1 to 6. Number 2. And number 2 is mutated toad hiding. That's interesting. Mutated hiding toad by EOP poison. Was that? Yep. EOP poison with a Z because he's extra cool. Alright, let's do it. Right, so let's see here. Mutated toad hiding. I saw a massive toad. We're kind of looking up at it. And like a storybook, classic storybook stuff, right? So that the ground in front, a little girl kind of standing, and the massive toad is we get just a little bit of light on the top, just a little pool of light, and he's kind of, oh man, I don't know what a toad face look like. It's going to just be generic thing, and reflection is just bounce light on it from the ground at the foreground where the girl is standing. That's what I saw. So let's go for that. So rigged. I'm absolutely rigged. I'm Princess Leia. Oh yeah, this. Yeah, yeah, definitely. If I lean forward and talk to R2D2. What does it? What was that sound loop? Uh, Help Obi-Wan, right? Isn't that what the hologram message was saying in the first movies? Obi-Wan, help! I am so Princess Leia right now. I'm channeling. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. I love it, man. That was a cool movie. I gotta go watch it again, or buy it on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. I need to watch that movie one more time. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. That's Rogue One for you who don't know. Oh, help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope. Yeah, that's right, Maction. That is right, Maction. Spot on. Did you know that, or did you have to look it up? Yeah, it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. Yeah, that's a cool scene. A bit vicious. Oh, you're right, Maction. You knew it. That's cool. That's cool, man. So, what do you think of Rogue One? I loved it. I found it really, really cool. My son loved it too. He was like all excited of the movie, and like everyone died. No, they can't be dead. Like, yep, they wanted to kill everyone. He was like, no. Is the next topic? It's over. I have the high ground. Why not? That's a cool. It's a cool line. Hmm. I'm not sure really how to tackle the toad. I want it to feel like a toad, but my mind goes blank of what an actual toad looks like. I know they have like eyes wide apart. They have almost like turtle nostrils, like upwards like that, I think. And they have a big ass ugly mouth with like protruding lips, a lot of jowl. Um, they have big eyebrows. But I think that's about it. How as far as my memory goes, I really should look at a toad, what it looks like. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's use toad ref. Yeah, more or less what I expected. But the only thing that I didn't remember was or not remember, but that was unclear, was the angle of the eyes. I think if I would have continued, I would have not have nailed the look of it. Yeah, it was a cool movie. Some really good characters in. And I also liked Seven. Seven was pretty good, but not as good as I'd say the other movies. It was lacking something. It was lacking some. I think the Kylo Ren in the movie, the main bad guy in the Seven, he wasn't like really that interesting. It just felt like, oh, such a emo boy. Like, who cares? Yeah, very emo. The Mad Baby. Yeah, yeah, he definitely Mad Baby. He had like hissy fits. Ah, they escaped. I'm gonna wreck this room. And you could see the other like stormtroopers like, oh no, this man child is at it again. Let's walk away. But I loved Rogue One. The atmosphere and everything felt really really Star Wars. It's such a cool, it's a good movie, a really good movie. Oh, I'm looking forward to be watching Blade Runner. I'm hoping it's they've done well because I'm a huge Blade Runner fan. I have the like collector's edition Blu-ray thing, the 30-year anniversary. It's such a good movie, and it's crazy how it still like stands up towards to the test of time. Like still a really really good movie. The atmosphere and everything is just so spot on. So Kuru, when I do line art designs, I try to like one thing that I taught in my CGMA class was that first to do thumbnails in value designs, and when you've done those thumbnails, you take those thumbnails and translate them into line art and apply the value design on the line art. And the idea of doing that as a practice is that first you practice the shape and value design aspect of concept art. You then apply it by applying the value design. So you see what the value design does to the line art, the cleaner shape, so that you can see, you can put one and one together mentally. And ideally, like the idea of breaking that process up in that way is that like when you do start what's it called, streamlining everything as you're drawing, and you've done it a couple of times, you can start putting steps together. And when you start putting steps together, and let's say you skip the thumbnailing part where you just do basic value and shape designs, with the hard values where you don't look at you know, light or line art, just looking at shapes in relationship to each other, is that when you do the line art on that, you're gonna start filling in the missing parts in your head, so that you can focus on designing something cool in line art while thinking that, all right, later when I'm gonna start coloring this in, I know that this will probably be a separate shape. You know, how can I set? Then you can start putting one and one together in a more advanced way, where you can think, okay, I'm gonna make this darker, then I can add these little details here because those are gonna be lighter, and I'm not gonna have any problems with it. You know, like how to group it with values later. Um, and another thing, like you asked if I do a couple of versions, you should always do a couple of versions. Uh, Play around with value design, like because very, very few times your first version is going to be the best version. It's very, very rare that that is the case. So always explore options, and we are visual beings, so that when we do see something, we can start understanding it a lot better than mentally project it. So I would definitely recommend that you sketch out options. But options of like value design and so on is easier to deal with after you've solved the actual design, the shapes, and then you can enhance that shapes by doing a better enhancing it with value design and switch things up that way. Lou Rib. Um, strong shapes is if you think about how to say it, how to explain it. Your problem on your version or your concept is that your concept's silhouette didn't have a lot of statements when it comes to this is a shape, this is dominant, and so on. Everything was just kind of dialed down and without any real grab any attention or emphasis on anything. It was just all like in the middle of the road, safe, right? It was very like the shy guy in the corner. And what usually is missing when that comes when in those situations is the fact that you gotta look at the concept or the model in this case and think, okay, what part do I need to make bigger and what part should I reduce in attention so that there is some sort of design decision being made for the viewer to look at. Because if everything is like, let's say for scale 1 to 5, 1 to 10, if all the curves and shapes and lines are like dialed down to 5, there's nothing that says this is a big curve, this is a small curve, here's a higher amount of information, here's a low amount of information. When everything is just kind of even Steven, it's not fun to look at. I mean, look at the reference for the frog. We look at the eyes instantly because everything else is yellow. That's like a contrast in value. But if you look at the shapes, we look at the eyes and the nostrils and the mouth, lips, you know, but we don't look at the cheeks on the left side of the eye because those are not like dominant shapes. And that's fine, because if everything is the same with, like, if we would scale all the shapes up to 10, we wouldn't have any comp parts and we would just see a huge amount of mess. So the idea is to find, I mean, mind you, this isn't like a recipe. Like this is the one way of doing it, and you'll always have a successful concept. But it's all about finding a balance between how many big shapes versus medium shapes versus small shapes, and in what order can you place them so that the concept looks interesting. I mean, if you look at the toad's skin, like a lot of the reference, that is a lot of the bumps on the skin, they're not evenly sized. You see they're bigger by the nostrils, smaller underneath the jaw. But if you look at the amount of details, you know, if you would detail the skin, that is a high amount of smaller details, but they're all spread out and aligned in a way where it looks good, because there is huger shape, huger, yeah, that's the right word for it. There's larger shapes like the nostril wings and the eyelids and the lips and the little jaw thing that helps to dictate the overall read, the overall rhythm. And my problem with your 3D concept that you posted is that it doesn't have that rhythm. It's all very, like if you look on the left side of the body, towards on the edge of the reference of the frog, like we look at that and we don't care about the stomach, the arm, and so on. It's secondary information. But because there's strong shapes at the face, you know, that's where we land, and we move around the face and looking at it. Your problem is that yours are on the left side of the image, where we don't really care about the rhythm because there isn't enough being stated. So what you got to do is go back in and play with shapes and figure out your design statement. What do you want to highlight? What do you want to push back in focus? Hey, Baba220, how's it going? Yeah, I mean, usually what you got to do is just take one part of the, let's say the shoulder down to the arm, and scale it, and you'll instantly see a difference. You know, take a part or copy paste a part from the neck or from the head, and just kind of rotate it and scale it around, and you'll instantly see a different rhythm. And that is an easy fix, but it's not the best fix. What you got to do is to um, I mean, ideally you do that design manually rather than shape searching, as in copy paste something else and tweak it until you see something interesting. The best way is to manually apply, you know, the design. But if you don't know, a good way is to just copy something from the image that looks interesting, and place it in the silhouette and rotate and erase and paint, or until you see a solution, and then you can go and do it in 3D. But the biggest problem always is finding that rhythm that reads well, and that's one good thing about using photos, is that you get a lot of information for free, and you can look at, just with your eyes, observe the information and scale and place it until you see something interesting. Um, and that's a good way to maybe learn, starting to understand what you like as an artist. But the problem is when you rely on it and when you can't see and search for it yourself, when you're designing, that you need to rely on photos in order to be creative, because you've unlearned, or what's it called, neglected that part of being creative, is that when that you don't know the process, you don't know your own thoughts or likes and dislikes in the way fundamentally, that you need to see the result to know what you like, rather than being able to craft it from a thought. I don't know, is my rant. But but going back to you, Kuru, that value design can be solved afterwards as well. When after you've done line art, if you can easily fix the problems with value design if you haven't thought about it before, because you can push and pull a lot of information into being submissive or dominant. Like, let's say I do a design of on a ammo rig or a vest, for a SWAT character. There's lots of loops and folds and all these things, but I could easily bathe it all in like a darker gray, and all that information as a character as a whole will be subdued, and it won't stand out because I push it in just in one visual group, while maybe he has a white t-shirt on and that you can always solve it with value and grouping information post line art. I was just saying that it's always good to have it at the back of your head when you are doing line art. Like I always try to emphasize is the more you know, the easier it is to make decisions. And if you're not aware of anything or of something, it's going to be hard to make an educated call. You don't need to be like a pro at it or the world's best or have a full grasp of it, but the more you think about it, the easier it is for you to at least be aware of it and make a judgment call, regardless of your skill level or understanding. But if you're completely unaware of something, you're just going to make mistakes that you don't know that you're making mistakes about, But a part of doing concept art and being in a creative position is also teaching yourself and learning while doing, and teaching yourself what you like and crafting your own personal preferences and all these things, right? That's up to you, crew. Whatever you think is the best solution to it. Oh, come on. So 4.5 left. Not good. I would have loved more time. I'm struggling with I think the kind of grouping of information here. It's all kind of just turning into one thing. So I'm trying to solve it with a color here, so that we get that he's in shadow a bit more. Never-ending story turtle. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can see that. Let's see. Let's put some very pink here. Probably something like that. I want to bloom it a bit. There we go. Color dodge. I kind of like that. But I will do this instead. I will do. I like the stronger pink in here. All right. Thanks, Rogry, for the follow. Much appreciated. Do it like that, and then an overlay on top. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Don't be like this computer. All right, now I think now we can at least separate the two a little bit better. Even though I would have loved more time to paint this more correctly. Go away, ref. I don't need you anymore. But I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I should use a color dodge as well to help with the illusion of blooming the foreground. Should have his eye pick up some of that girl. Never-ending Story. This is such a good movie. Love that movie as a kid. The Never-ending Story. That is in my Hall of Fame for sure. I love me some Never-ending Story. And for those who haven't seen it, you gotta see it. It's an amazing 80s movie. So imaginative. And it's, for at least for me, the cornerstone of my childhood, more or less. It's a really cool movie. That and The Labyrinth with David Bowie. A very cool movie too. Very imaginative. It holds up somewhat. I'd say probably some people might have a hard time watching it today. But it's a pretty good. Pretty good. Hey, Sri on Art. Thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. High five to you, sir, madam. Time is up. Holy crap. All right. That's it. That's what I managed to do. I managed to kind of do something. Dark Crystal is also awesome. Yeah. I don't know if I'm happy with it. It's very messy. The low value range there inside the frog toad wasn't really helping me, and whatever. Tomorrow is a new day. Legend is also awesome. Okay, everyone, thanks for coming. Have a fantastic day. Good night. See you tomorrow. Bye. Outro.